Hey everybody, welcome to Analog Stick Radio, episode 8, brought to you by Bit Cultures. And if you're listening to this, and it's a Thursday, you get bonus points. As always, I'm joined by my two cantankerous cohorts, the effervescent Dakota.
Hello.
And the man, the inspiration, Chris.
Hoping you call me iridescent.
I was thinking about calling you iridescent, but you don't glow.
Shiny.
So
I'm glowing right now, because you're here.
Are you pregnant?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Guys, what do we play this week? I'm going to actually jump ahead, and I'm going to say that I have had a huge boner for Rocket League. All of a sudden, I've always loved it, but for some reason, right now, I can't stop playing it. And I actually played some 1v1s. It was really weird.
How was that?
It was different. It was definitely a different game. It was a lot of just kind of, if you miss, they score immediately type of games, which was weird. But so, it does give you a lot of control, or teaches you a lot of control, rather.
Sure, because there's no passing, right? So it's just all about ball control?
Yeah, it's about ball control, about car control, and about kind of just like reading the area that they're sitting in.
A little bit of mind games, maybe?
Yeah, they'll just sit there and wait for you to hit it, and then they'll hit a counter hit. So you kind of have to try to put it somewhere where they're not. So it was very interesting.
My brother plays a lot of 1v1, and he said that playing 1v1 really upped like his ball control game and his aerial game.
Well then, I have not done any aerials because the second you miss an aerial, they just score immediately. So I kept myself completely on the ground.
Got to nut up, Mitch. Commit.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Speaking of nut up, are you level 30 in Heroes of the Storm yet?
I haven't played Heroes in like 3 weeks, man.
Oh my God, you're the absolute worst. You are the worst.
I can't touch anything that Blizzard has released because I'm too stoked for Overwatch, and everything else just pales by comparison. I look at something like Heroes and I go, well, it's not Overwatch. I can't stand to open the fucking launcher. That's what it is. I open the launcher, I click the Overwatch icon, there's no launch button, I say, fuck this launcher.
Oh, I haven't checked that today, actually.
Oh, man.
Oh, I haven't checked it yet either.
What I did play, though, was a little bit of King's Quest on PlayStation 4. I guess the reboot or whatever, or the really late sequels to the old school games. Point-and-click adventure. I played with my girlfriend. King's Quest is one of the few video games that she remembers playing as a kid. So I'm like, all right, I'll get it for PlayStation 4, sit on the couch, play some King's Quest. It's good. It's a really good girlfriend game. What about you, Chris?
I played some of the usual suspects. I didn't get around to playing Walking Dead. Figured it was good to hold off because it's an episode. But I did play Vermintide.
Ooh, I saw you got that.
That was good.
Tell me about it.
The full name is Warhammer: The End Times Vermintide.
God damn, enough.
So yeah, enough. So forever. So Vermintide, it's, if you ever played Left 4 Dead, it's basically you, 3 other people. It's first-person shooter, and you're going through levels and just fighting waves and waves of, instead of zombies, you're fighting rat men, and it's super fun. Like, Left 4 Dead is more based around, weapons, ranged weapons, like, machine guns, stuff like that, rifles. This is, since it's in a fantasy setting, you're using a lot of melee weapons. And, they have the melee really down in this game. It's
nice.
Really solid. Yeah, and that's what really makes the game a lot of fun, because you have, like, a basic attack where, like, one of my guys, like the Witch Hunter. He's really cool. You, like, swing your sword, you have a rapier, and then if you hold it down, you kind of do, like, a charged piercing attack.
Ooh,
right?
But
cool. if you're the Imperial Soldier guy, you have, like, a big broadsword. So your basic attack is, like, a sweeping kind of attack, and then your big charge was you, like, just send a bunch of dudes flying back, right? And then you have blocking with fatigue and stuff, and if you hold spacebar and move left or right, you can do quick dodges.
Oh, yeah,
so it's like
nice.
Really based on melee. You also have some ranged weapons in there too, but I really love the melee in that. Really solid.
Sounds like was it medieval? No, chivalry. Chivalry.
Yeah,
it's
it does
not.
Sound like chivalry.
It's not as intense as chivalry, but it's definitely solid.
I always like a good melee FPS control scheme, right? That's kind of hard to do, and good ones feel good. Huh?
Very difficult, but they do it perfectly, especially with, like, the feelings when you hit these rats. It's just perfect.
Nice. Can you play as the rats? Like, is there like a reverse mode, kind of like in Left 4 Dead?
No, that's the only thing. It's PvE only, but they keep it.
That sounds disgusting.
No, they keep it going because they have a lot of difficulty levels, and you get gear. You're not just limited to the weapon that your character has. you don't pick up weapons. You like pick your weapon at the very beginning. And so like I was mentioning, I played the Witch Hunter, so I have a rapier, and he has like a gun on the side of the rapier. Like when you select the rapier. So it's a rapier gun combo. So like if I use an alt attack while I have my rapier out, I shoot a shot. But I also have guns in my gun slot. So but instead of picking that gun rapier combo, I could pick like a broadsword for the Witch Hunter or whatever. So I could, you could really customize your character, be like really melee oriented or really range oriented based on the gear you get. So you want to like play these matches and get the gear, and like the higher level you are, you get more dice, and they have like a really cool gear system.
Are there boss mobs like there are in Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, there are boss mobs. They're pretty similar to Left 4 Dead. Like the game is very, very similar. If you played Left 4 Dead, you've played this almost. Like there's a lot of nuanced differences, but because it's been so long since a Left 4 Dead game has come out, and the differences are just enough to where it's like totally acceptable, it's so much fun. Like
I might have to get this game, man.
It's
I love
super,
Left 4
and
Dead.
it's only $30.
Wow.
Like it's
$30 American dollars.
Yeah,
$30
$30 American dollars.
Listeners.
But it's great. You should definitely play with me.
See, if there's no multiplayer, who am I going to call a giant noob?
There is multiplayer.
There's multiplayer,
But like if I can't play against a person and I'm just playing PvE, I can't call anyone a noob after I beat them.
Mitch,
or like call them a nerd.
Mitch,
Yeah.
have you ever raided in your life? People call people
ever
noobs
played with
all
people?
the time.
Yeah, but that's when my team is bad, and I don't
there's-
want to do that. I
there's a
want to call someone a nerd when I beat the crap out of them.
There's a character called a Rattling Gunner.
Oh my god!
Come on now.
And he just shoots at you.
Now I'm sold.
He's a rat with a giant Gatling gun, and he picks a particular target to shoot at, and he just constantly shoots at that direction.
Yep.
So, like, if that guy doesn't hide, he just gets mowed down,
Chris,
and he mows down all the rats.
You sold me. Stop selling it. You've already sold the game. It's done.
We might install this while we do this podcast.
Yeah,
so
I
can play
already
immediately
checked. By
after.
the way, just in case you were wondering, I am also not in the Overwatch beta. I'm very mad.
Oh, I did check. I'm not in the Overwatch beta either.
Blizzard, what are you doing? Get your shit together.
For real.
Let's talk about something less beta-y and less rapey, huh?
Yeah, right? Let's move on to the main topic.
So in light of the recently announced No Man's Sky release date and Overwatch beta also just releasing, we're going to talk a little bit about video game marketing. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding these two events in particular. No Man's Sky's kind of been a little long in the tooth as far as how long we've been hearing about it and not being able to play it, and Overwatch had its own nuances as far as that beta and what people thought about it as far as marketing. So I guess to start us off, Mitch, what game are you most looking forward to that's coming out in the future?
If they don't just give me a copy of No Man's Sky before it comes out, people are in serious danger. Like, I cannot wait for this game. It has everything I want. It's an exploratory game. It's set in space. You can fly a ship. That's really all I need from any game. Like, it looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And for those who don't know, it was, I think, last week, Paris Game Show, where they finally announced a release date after a lot of anticipation in the release month, not a release date. The game is coming out June 2016.
That's too late. I need it sooner.
That's
so
still another half a year from now.
Yeah, so please, because I just bought my PS4, and apparently I bought it 6 months too early, so please send it as soon as you can.
I think it's going to be a steaming pile.
A steaming pile of great, awesome gaming? Yes,
No.
I know, you're right.
Of just garbage. Just a steaming pile of salty garbage.
I forgot, you like eating salty garbage, so that makes sense that you would make that comparison.
No.
So do you...
What don't you like about it, Chris?
It's... The thing about it is, they haven't given any... I haven't seen any real gameplay for it. Like, they've shown sometimes, like, the guy walking around the planet, but it's all very, pre-recorded type stuff, right? Like, they set up
you don't know
this
that.
demo.
It's not been pre-recorded.
I don't know.
You don't know that.
Anyway, anything that's that open world, that has that grandiose explanation about, like, oh, it's got billions of pre-crafted or uncrafted worlds, like, yeah, that just means that you haven't put care into it, so it's
No,
going
that
to be
means
a
what
boring
could go
blob of land. That
What could go wrong, Chris? It's fine.
So yeah,
It's gonna be so
I mean, this is good because as part of No Man's Sky's marketing strategy, I guess, is they have been emphasizing heavily about how the game was made, right? They always talk about the procedural generation code that has gone into creating the world and the galaxy and each planet and all the animal life and all of the minerals, and they keep harping on the creation of these game systems. Not interested, Chris?
No, that was me. That was a satisfaction moan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Chris didn't seem
I'm
too
still not
too
interested. They did the same thing with S.P.E.C.I.A.L. People were. I think there was some kind of article in New York Times. I think I could be making this up, but there was some article somewhere that people were like, "Oh, they're going to be using this game to teach in a school for an entire. They have enough material to teach a school for an entire year."
We're talking about S.P.E.C.I.A.L, right?
Yeah, for S.P.E.C.I.A.L.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind. I get the exact same feeling. Like everybody's expecting this. He was on Stephen Colbert, the one of the main developers.
Sean Murray.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see this game being that revolutionary. I see it being an open world sandbox where people are going to get pretty bored pretty fast.
Well, you can't hang out in my open world sandbox. So
what about you, Mitch? Do you? So you're into the game. Does it have anything to do with how they've handled the marketing, or are you just excited about the idea and the genre?
I mean, the genre just speaks to me directly. Anytime a game like that comes out, I'm going to immediately buy it. The marketing has been... It's been marketing. Like, it has been a thing. I am nauseated by how many times I have to keep seeing the same trailer over and over again. But other than that, I think it's just kind of more that that style of game appeals to me. I loved S.P.E.C.I.A.L. I thought the game was incredible, so... Towards the end, it becomes like
strong words.
It becomes disgusting at the end, obviously, like when you're just trading dust for dust for dust for dust. But the beginnings of the game, like watching it evolve, was interesting. Like the first three playthroughs.
I'm interested. I like exploring in things in this way, but the way that it's marketed is not at all like those are major red flags for me. A red flag for me is a game that they don't show a lot of in-game content. And they use a lot of really, overly, I don't know what the word is, I'm going to use grandiose again, overly grandiose descriptions of it, like game-changing, groundbreaking, like, no, I don't believe this.
Have they been saying that they're going to be groundbreaking? I have not seen this.
They may not use the language, but I know what Chris is talking about. I mean, just the fact that they are emphasizing the way the game is made so much kind of implies that it's of note, right?
Yeah.
Maybe when they said
not everybody walks around talking about how they made the game. And
maybe when they said groundbreaking, they meant like there's going to be terraforming.
That could be it.
So
that could be it, Mitch.
You misinterpreted the word groundbreaking.
You just solved the show. All right, it's been episode 8.
All right, great job, guys. Let's wrap it up here.
Sweet. We don't even need to do a meta bet. I just automatically win, right?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Sweet. Dakota,
what about
do you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chris, let's hear about it. What are you looking forward to? Anything in particular that's coming out?
And anything coming out, I am looking forward to Fallout 4, but I'm not really that stoked over it. No game coming out that I'm really, really excited for late. I don't know why, but there's nothing on my radar right now that I'm really looking forward to. I want to play Fallout 4, but it's going to be one of those situations where I'm excited when it's going to be out, but I'm more excited for like the Game of the Year edition in a year.
Really?
I could wait.
Will you wait?
I could wait that long. Actually.
Will you really? Oh,
I don't have the funds to buy all the games I want all the time. So
okay.
I actually am in a camp. We could probably talk about this in a whole different thing. I'm in a camp that I will wait for games a year after they come out and just catch up on. I'm always playing new games for me, even though they're like a year old.
That is dedication to the thrift.
There is a game that I am really looking forward to. Actually, an indie game.
Yeah.
Called Cuphead. Have you guys heard about this? You can laugh about it all you want, but you see it, you're going to be like, what the shit? This is as ridiculous as it sounds.
Tell me about Cuphead's marketing, Chris.
Here we are, guys. We made it, talking about Cuphead. No, if you see this game, you're going to flip your load. This game, it's been marketed, it's been at E3, it's an indie game. It's a side-scrolling shooter. And its graphics remind me, it's old-style Mickey Mouse graphics.
Sick. That's what I look for in a new game.
Like the old Mickey Mouse game? Holy, you guys remember that game?
No,
not
the old Mickey Mouse game. I'm talking like Steamboat Willie graphics.
Yeah, that's
where everybody's like bouncing
like
up and down. But like, It's so beautifully crafted.
That sounds cool. That sounds real cool.
Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. And it looks incredibly difficult. Like, there's a thing where there's, like, some skeleton in a train throwing its eyeballs at... Like, throwing, like, waves of eyeballs at you, bouncing up and down, and you're a guy with, like, a teacup head.
Are you the... So does your interest in the game have anything to do with the marketing in particular, or it just looks like a good game?
It looks like a great game.
You,
that's one of the things I feel like there's indie games have an issue where they don't have the advertising for marketing. So like the fact that you guys have no idea about this game,
right?
Yet it sounds like something you're totally into is like I don't know. It's one of the downfalls of these indie games. But
are you the kind of guy that will like go out of your way to watch E3 or watch Paris Game Show or different things like that to see announcements and sneak peeks and stuff like that?
I like watching E3 and I like watching these game shows. I don't particularly go out of my way to find like hidden gems, but I'll try and watch as much stuff as I can, reasonably. And then if I see anything that catches my eye, I'll look a little bit more into it. And this is definitely one of the ones that caught my eye from one of these shows, and I wouldn't have really heard about it any other way.
I'm going to write it down, man. Cuphead.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at Cuphead. I want to touch on, though, let's touch on this this Fallout 4 hype train that you've boarded, because you and everybody else in the world... Yes, exactly.
Oh, there it is. Oh, my God, I missed it.
We've missed it. But seriously, because everybody and their mother is on this game, and I could honestly not possibly care less about this game.
Wow. First of all, I want to thank you for using that figure of speech correctly.
You're welcome.
Can't care less.
I cannot it's not possible because I'm like in the negatives right now.
And secondly, you're fucking crazy.
That's fine. See, I'm nervous about the Fallout game. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Because I did play, I played New Vegas. Now, everyone's told me that New Vegas was like the worst one. No. But I did play New Vegas.
New Vegas is better than Fallout 3, in my opinion.
Oof, those are some strong words. I have some friends who would be slapping you.
The game itself was a bit of a buggy mess, but the game mechanics or whatever, the game, widely speaking, assuming they both worked perfectly, I thought was better. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, anyways, there's just so much marketing. This is one of those situations where they're like jerking themselves off so much. They release those little like one for each special thing, those little videos. Like I was like, why? I don't care. Like just give me the game. Just show me more content.
So funny. Because I feel like their marketing campaign... So I guess we're kind of getting into it, but I think that Fallout 4's marketing campaign has been genius. Not genius is a strong word. I don't want to fillet them. But it's been really effective for me because they already know that they have a good game coming. Or they already know that they're going to have a huge audience for their game, I should say. The game is going to sell no matter what they do. They could show a fucking... black and white screenshot of a turd, and they will sell a ton of copies of this game.
Well, but look at that mapping.
But yeah, oh god, look at the deets on that curvature.
Those crevices,
crevasses.
It's a good loaf. The game. Oh god, I lost my train of thought. Thinking of Fallout 4.
It's a good loaf.
So the thing about the game is the game is going to be what it's going to be. People will buy it regardless. But one of the cool things about the Fallout universe has always been its personality, right? I mean, the world is immersive. Everybody thinks that. Well, I don't want to speak for everybody. I think that the little Pip-Boy art that they have in the game and all the instructional videos they have in the games previously is super cheeky, fun stuff, and obviously they think so, right? That's part of why they release these videos. They already know that people are excited. It's a nice way to drum up a little bit of, anticipation and excitement, and they can do it without giving any details away about the game, which I like. Maybe because I'm completely spoiler adverse. I hate spoilers. So I really appreciate when you can kind of drum up some excitement about the game without showing anything about the game. We know what the game's going to look like. It's going to be Fallout 3 again.
I'm definitely with you on this one. Like I said, one of my red flags for games a lot of times is they don't show actual gameplay. But here, I think they have shown a little bit of gameplay. They had that. I didn't watch it. But I'm pretty sure they had like a big, long, like 15, 20-minute
Yeah, they showed some gameplay, and they also showed you like how the crafting and building system works.
Yeah.
And
So
stuff
they
like.
showed. I feel like they've shown enough so far where people get a good idea of what it's like, and you know what you're getting at this point in a Fallout game. So
That's my point. They didn't show me anything different. Everything just looks prettier, but it's the same game. I don't
But
wanna
it's
play
the same amazing.
I don't
thing,
want to play
right?
Fallout New Vegas again. I don't want to play Fallout 3 again. I don't want to play Fallout 2 again. I just want to give me a new game.
I guess you're just not the target market because the whole
Oh,
reason.
you mean like what?
that
Sheeple? Yeah, no, I'm not being corralled. Not at all.
Oh,
How dare? Like, did you play Skyrim?
No. Oh, yeah, we did. We talked about this. I played it a little bit. Yeah. Remember, I ran off and I ran into the town where you learn spells, like the little
Right.
cult.
You wouldn't do something like that again if they gave you a new world to run around in.
But it's not a new world. It's the same world. That's the point.
No, you're gonna be.
It's a post-apocalyptic world. Pfft, I get it. Like,
well,
this
why
is,
you watch any Star Wars movies again? Like, why didn't you stop
Whoa.
after one?
Whoa, that's
It's
a whole different.
no, it's the exact same
that's
thing.
that's a whole different realm. There was a New Hope. Okay.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
If
but
you're
there
not-
was a New Hope.
Well, if you're not into the game, then you're not going to be into the marketing. I guess that's the long and short of it.
But don't you think? Because see, here's my problem with that kind of marketing that they're doing. Don't you think they should be trying to get me interested in the game? Like their target audience should be people who are not just going to straight up buy it no matter what. And these special videos were targeted at those. So all they're doing is like, oh, we know you're going to buy our game, but let us just stroke you off a little bit. Let's just let's get you primed up. Like,
well, if you're not excited
unnecessary.
about jumping into another Fallout post-apocalyptic world, what on earth could they show you that would get you to want to?
Something more than these stupid little Pip-Boy like videos. I don't
feel
care
like
about
that's
them.
not for you. Those Pip-Boy videos aren't for you. They're for the people like Dakota here, who are waiting for it, and it's like a fun little side thing. Like it doesn't really give up anything for the game. It kind of is like, oh yeah, these are the way the stats work in a fun little video format. It's just fun marketing.
Right, but it doesn't do anything. It's not even
Not
fun
for
marketing.
you.
It's just like, hey, here's a video on the thing you like. But
I guess it didn't work for you. I'm sure
No,
it
I'm
did
not,
something.
I'm not
Otherwise,
saying it didn't work for me. I'm saying like it's not accomplishing.
I'm saying it
anything.
didn't work for you because it obviously worked for somebody. Otherwise, they just wouldn't spend the money on it. I mean, they're not going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a marketing campaign that just doesn't get them sales. So they think it does something. It just was not effective for you, I
Dakota,
guess.
let me ask you this question. Prior to those videos, even being released, even the first one, were you going to buy Fallout 4?
Yeah.
After those videos, had they changed your opinion on it at all?
No.
Okay, so then it was an ineffective marketing campaign if you're the target audience.
What I'm saying is, I'm not the target audience. I don't agree with Chris in so far as that, because if I were the target audience, you don't target people you already have. You target white space, right? You target markets that you don't already have. So obviously they think they're going to be effective on some level. Otherwise, they wouldn't make it. We're going around in circles.
Yeah,
I think
you might be right. I'm just saying, like, I thought they were kind of silly because they looked like they were only for people who are already going to buy the game.
No, I wasn't
therefore a
talking
waste
about
of time.
people who are only going to buy. I'm talking about people who maybe are into the idea of
The
Fallout,
lore
who
or
like
the-
lore
or
of
Okay,
Fallout.
I could get behind that. Like people that are
you know
not
what I think
completely
happens?
opposed.
Yeah, you know what I think happened is it's a new console generation, right? So there's ostensibly a whole generation of gamers who didn't play the last two titles, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. And so what's probably happened is that they've heard from their friends or their older brothers or whatever how damn awesome Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas were. I'm sure, like just by word of mouth and just through video game culture, you know, and communication. And so they know that there's these really great games that they've heard about, the Fallout games, and then, oh, lo and behold, here comes a new one. And then they see these little videos, and they might be intriguing because they're cute, they're funny. I mean, they Fallout has charm, and these videos embody the charm of Fallout. And so if maybe you're kind of unsure and curious about the game because you didn't play other ones, these videos might make you go, oh yeah, that's hilarious, that's funny,
Yeah.
I like that.
They're going to want more of that from the game. I can get that. I can get behind
Possibly.
that. We can talk in circles about Fallout 3 or Fallout 4.
I want to say one thing about it though. As far as gameplay is concerned, this is kind of the other side of the coin. Recently, there was some leaked footage of some gameplay, and it's getting a lot of bad play online because in one of the clips, the player throws a grenade into a room, and he's got his companion, his little AI companion dog, and the dog is attacking the enemy that the player throws the grenade at. The grenade blows up, kills the mob, right? And as soon as your companions go into like out of combat mode, they have really high like health regeneration. So the dog trots out of the room and it's on fire, like totally flaming. But it's just casually walking out of the room as if, no big deal. And people are going, "Oh, this looks terrible," and kind of making a fuss of that. And it's so funny, Mitch. You say you want gameplay. We get a little gameplay footage, and people are like, "Uh-oh, this looks a little, I don't know."
I mean, we'll see what happens. It's all going to come down to when it's released, if it's if it's good or not. And if it's good, I'll probably end up getting it. If it's not, I'll just say I told you so.
Yeah.
Dakota, what is the game you're looking forward to?
I think the game I'm most looking forward to is Street Fighter V.
Ooh, you got to play in the beta for that. You got to look really bad during the beta for that.
I did, and I can't wait to do it again.
So, was it a marketing strategy that kind of hooked you on this one, or was it just that you love Street Fighter V and 4 and 3 and all the other ones?
Well, I'll tell you, I love Street Fighter. I would have played Street Fighter V regardless, but I do think that the way they are marketing the game is really awesome. They had a pretty cool little viral campaign going where I don't know his name, something Ono. We'll call him Ono. He's one of the
Yoko Ono.
I think that may have been the one. One of the guys that works on the game, as Capcom has been moving from convention to convention across the world, they've been revealing characters like one by one, and they'll always do it in an area that the character is from. So when they were in the Middle East at some convention, they released their Middle Eastern character Rashid. And then when they were in Brazil, they announced Laura, who's from Brazil. So it's kind of had like this global kind of feel to it, which is really cool. Street Fighter has always been about wildly racist caricatures of cultures, but they're kind of like embracing the fact that, okay, whatever. They're offensive. You look at the character designs and it's obvious Capcom doesn't really care about being PC, so they're just going to accept the kind of globalness of their roster and make that part of their campaign. So that's been cool.
Well, I think that was something that they did a long time ago, back before being PC was a thing, and they just kind of stuck with it. They're just like, okay, well, clearly this has become acceptable, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have the Indian guy who is a yogi, and so, like all yogis, he breathes fire and his limbs stretch, right?
Mm-hmm. Anatomically
but it's
correct.
It's been, yeah. All 5 limbs, Chris. All 5 limbs.
Ooh.
So yeah, they've been tooling around conventions, releasing heroes slowly, but it's been real measured, man. Like the game was only announced like about a year ago, and there's 16 characters on the roster at release, and it always seems as if there's another character being revealed. It's cool as somebody who's keeping an eye on the game as it's in its pre-release phase. There's always something new, always, and it's not like too long. I think the last character that they revealed was Dalsim. It was Dalsim, the Indian yogi, and they revealed him a week ago, and it was only like 3 weeks, maybe 4 tops, that they released the character before that. And so in that way, it has been effective. The marketing, they've kept my attention throughout the whole year since announcing the game,
which is the goal. I guess that's the goal of the Fallout 4 videos as well, is just to be like, hey, by the way, make sure you've budgeted for this game.
Yeah. And it actually is similar, right? There's 7 videos, 1 for each special stat, and they released them in a measured, scheduled way.
You know what? I feel like that's a great way to keep people interested and like excited about it. The Heroes of the Storm did that in a different way, right? They kept releasing their characters in the alpha, like nobody's able to play this really yet, but here's Murky, like. Here's a new character. Kept people like being like, "Oh, that's really cool! I can't wait to play it."
Right,
like,
sweet
character.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like really clever ways. Can you guys think of any other like really cool like ways that maybe like clever marketing strategies kind of like caught your attention?
What about you, Dakota?
Yeah. Actually, we talked about a couple of them, but No Man's Sky, even though there have been problems with the way they've marketed it, well, first of all, I just kind of disagree fundamentally. Excuse me. The way that they have marketed the approach to creating the game has hooked me personally because I'm a software developer, so they're kind of speaking my language. But that aside, every time they talk about their game, every time Sean Murray gets in front of a camera and talks about No Man's Sky, it's so obvious that he is in love with his game. And not in a pretentious way, in like a labor of love way. And the fact that they always get him in front of a camera to talk, it is effective because it's like his baby. I think Hello Games, the studio that's developing the game, is pretty small. I think they're like 15 people tops. I think they're even less than that. And I believe that Sony even offered them development support when they started to follow the game, because I think they're kind of I think Sony might publish it or something. They've essentially pulled Hello Games under their wing and are going to use it to, well, I think they're going to use it to launch PlayStation VR. But they offered Hello Games help to develop the game, and they refused. They said, no, we want to keep our small little team.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it is big. And that kind of dedication to their core goals or whatever, it shows. It shows when he talks about the game.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because it's exactly like in Magic the Gathering when they put Morrow in front of the camera or in front of something. He fucking loves Magic the Gathering. He could talk about Magic the Gathering forever, and that's why he has a podcast where he does.
Dude, that guy's a fucking talker.
I mean, so he just wants but I like that though, and I think a lot of people do. That's why he's still doing it. Well, is because you love listening to him talk about it because he loves the game. It's not because he wants you to buy it. It's not because he wants it to be successful. He's literally just like, look at this awesome thing we created this time. I'm so stoked to tell you about it.
Hitler really liked eugenics, but that didn't work out so well.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. The other thing about No Man's Sky, Chris, you mentioned it. Sean Murray was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, right? This was a clever thing they did. So for that demo build of the game, part of the gameplay loop in the game is you fly around from planet to planet discovering life, plant life, wildlife, the planets themselves. And when you do, you get to name them. And in this demo build that they prepped for The Late Show, everything, all the planets he went to, all the wildlife he encountered, all their names had Stephen Colbert puns in them. They either had like the word Stephen in them or the word Colbert in them. It's like Colbertosaurus Rex and shit like that. It was pretty cute.
Yeah.
And he got to do that in front of millions of viewers on TV, so I think that was pretty effective.
I agree. Chris, what about you? Any clever marketing strategies?
I kind of liked the way Evolve was marketed, actually. I know it didn't well, let me backspace real quick here. Evolve did terrible marketing in terms of its DLC, content.
It's like the disclaimer before you talk about.
Like absolutely,
we covered that.
But the way that they marketed the game itself, I really loved, because the commercial didn't originally have anything. Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the game. It had to do with like kids playing tag. Right?
Yeah, I remember that commercial. That commercial was awesome.
It was so cool. The kids were playing tag in the dark with like flashlights, and or like hide and seek or something. And 4 kids were chasing one, or like the one kid was chasing those 4 kids. And then in the meanwhile, they had like a beetle on a leaf, like fighting 4 ants, and like just really great symbolism. And the whole thing Evolve, it had the E next to the V, and then the 4 other letters on the other side, and it's all separate. Like everything in that marketing strategy, was so clever and well done. I really enjoyed the way that the game itself was marketed, not the confusing ass DLC.
The loaf that was the Evolve DLC.
I always said this is one good step forward and like 8 steps backwards with that game.
Can you imagine it was somebody's job to say, look at this, E on this side, OLVE on this side. 1V4. It's somebody's fucking job.
I know.
Yeah, and they did a fucking good job at it, too.
Yeah, they got lunch that day.
John, I'm taking you out. Let's go. That was incredible. You just blew my mind.
Nice.
Okay,
what about you, Mitch?
I mean, for me, it's just Magic. Magic the Gathering, the way that game is marketed, it just, God, I just want to buy everything all the time. And I'm usually never disappointed. A lot of people, they'll get disappointed. Cards are not the way that they want them or whatever. But for the most part, like listening to Morrow Mark Rosewater, by the way, like the director of development for Magic the Gathering.
Head of design.
Head of design, whatever. The titles. He's a title and
he's a title at a job.
Title at a job. No, he just gets up there and he just talks about things, and you listen to it and you can just tell that he loves it. And for me, that's what I want from my head of design for a game that I'm going to invest a lot of time and money into, is to just have it be designed by someone who's absolutely in love with it. So I don't know if that's a clever marketing strategy or they just realize Morrow sells product, but every time he talks, I just eat it up. So he just they just released a video for... Oh, they do this too, actually, now that I think about it. They'll release these really clever spoiler videos. The next set coming out is called Shadows of Innistrad, so we're going back to a plane that we've been to before. And it's like just this really like little hint of something, and now you just gotta like speculate like, oh god, what cards are gonna be in this set, and oh, we're going back to Innistrad. So that's a clever thing that they do, is just give you little spoilers throughout the way and then make you think about them for the entire year.
Going off the coattails real quick of your talking about a developer talking about their baby, have you ever watched any of the Nintendo Directs?
No, I have not.
Those are great. Usually it's like the heads of Nintendo. It used to be Iwata before he passed away, and they would just do almost a press release for the fans, right? Talking about the games they're really excited about and show the people who are working on them, and like translating all the what they're saying about those games. And I always thought those were really great, like really from the heart type showing of their product.
Yeah, but
I really the way
but they're not like Morrow though. Morrow is like a little kid in a candy store. Like I can't describe it to you, Chris. I should show you a video of this one day. It's literally just watching a kid in a candy store develop a game.
I think you'd like to watch Iwata also.
I mean, maybe. I might. Yeah. I might. So on the flip side now, let's talk about, when you were disappointed. You got really, really hyped up. You boarded that hype train at the station, and then you just went into a train wreck. Like Dakota.
Hype train.
Hype train, Dakota.
Talking about hype train.
Oh my god! I gotta.
We dropped so many cues. Yeah, thank you.
I inched forward with it. Chris heard it coming.
I put it away.
God, Chris, we need to get you a whistle so that you can pick up the slack here.
Oh my god!
So Dakota, make up for it. Tell me about a time that you boarded a train wreck.
Well,
it's got really, really morbid.
I know
really
it's
quick.
got morbid. Jesus, it's fucking. I think try not to jump too hard on this train, Mitch, because I know you're going to want to. But I think the latest World of Warcraft expansion was a bit of a letdown for most people. I think something about the way that they marketed Warlords of Draenor was like, it's going to be like old times again. It's going to be like...
Don't they say that every time?
They really do. I mean, they tend to have similar marketing themes. Oh, we're going to get back to the humans v orcs conflict, stuff like that. This expansion was literally, the plot was literally about going back in time. So it was all about nostalgia. They were playing the nostalgia song real loud. And we fell for it for the most part. I mean, I did, for sure. I did enjoy the game. You didn't fall for it?
No.
I fell for it. But I mean, I'm always going to play that game no matter what. I'm not like... But to make a distinction, I'm not as excited for Legion, the next expansion, as I was for Warlords of Draenor, the current expansion, just based on what I know of it so far. That being said, I totally got on board that hype train, and it's not that... I guess I think it was overhyped a little bit, or maybe they were trying to... they were trying to play me emotionally, right? They're like, hey, remember back when it was good? They know that a lot of us WoW players wear the rose-tinted glasses. They know that. And we know that we're wrong, or at least the reasonable ones amongst us, maybe not all of us. The game, WoW, in vanilla, was bad. It was not as good as it is now. The game is a better game than it was as far as game design goes.
But I think that was definitely part of its charm. We could go into this... But that was definitely part, for me, the charm, because it was kind of like the Wild West. Certain quests didn't work, and you had to find out which ones didn't work.
You jumped through a window. You jumped through a goddamn window. That was amazing.
That's not good, but that's a kind of like charm in things that you don't get anymore. Now everything's too polished and spit-shined and like...
No. Chris, we got to back off. We'll go down a rabbit hole here. You and I, we know. We'll go down a rabbit hole.
Let's just leave it at that. I don't. So... vanilla WoW aside, I think that the marketing for Draenor was a little bit too grandiose. It's part of where they misstepped was they were going to they wanted people to get excited about it, but this was the first expansion in this new model of expansion releases where they decided to do them shorter and more often. And so people were like, oh yeah, we're going to get to do all this stuff, and then we had a lot less content, and people kind of went, oh, whoa, that's not okay. We kind of forgot about that part of the deal when we were really excited to go back to Draenor and to talk to all these characters we talked about before. But hey, wait a minute. Nobody said, well, they did tell us, we just chose to ignore it. Nobody said loud enough that we were only going to have this many raid tiers and only this many expansion islands, and oh, wait, this kind of sucks. So I think that's how most people feel about the expansion, at least those that are disappointed with it.
They also left out half the races. I'm an Alliance player, and I felt like I wasn't going to play it anyway, but I was like, this is all orc stuff. I do not care.
Well, I mean, Blizzard likes Horde.
Well, I'm saying from a
Blizzard likes Horde, remember?
Perspective, outside who I'm not planning on going back, and everything I saw was just orc stuff.
Not this one. Cataclysm was a bit like that, but this one was all about Medivh, a human being. But anyway, let's not talk about WoW.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
It's
super
funny.
Stoked about a game and disappointed?
Now that you mentioned the WoW thing, there's two particular times I really remember that I jumped on a hype train and crashed. The most recent one. Oh man, now I made a sad time happy. The first time, I'm going to go to the second time, the latest time first. I used to play a lot of WoW. We talked about this. So I didn't want to play WoW anymore. And I really wanted that feeling again. I wanted kind of like a new kind of new MMO that would like capture me again. And I thought Obi-Wan was my only hope. I thought Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh my
was
God,
be
Chris! I have that one written down too. We went on this journey together, Chris.
Oh my God, we did go on this journey.
I held hands and boarded this train.
I was so excited. They released such cool, awesome cinematics.
It was so
the
good.
ideas were so great. It was Star Wars, but like old Star Wars, so they were able, like way old Star Wars, so they were able to do things they didn't have. They had such cool class designs. They had voice acting for all the quests.
That idea that like they were going way back in the storyline so that nothing was touched. I loved that.
And they had like full reign and like things were great, but it was just wasn't done well enough. Like the end game, man, they had so much marketing for the storyline of the game and they left out like a lot of the other parts of the game.
Well, don't get me wrong. The storyline was amazing. Like the single
great.
Player part where you were leveling was awesome.
Yeah, but
then
they marketed that part great. But like they pushed so many things. They had like giant Darth Malgus guys showing up at conventions. They had these cinematic, beautiful, gorgeous 3 cinematics released like 3 different times during the year, just constantly talking about it, and then for it to just fizzle out once people started realizing it wasn't.
Now,
you know what people realized? They realized it was just WoW with a Star Wars coat of paint.
It wasn't even WoW with a Star Wars coat of paint. It was
absolutely WoW with a Star Wars coat of paint.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
What's wrong with that? Wait, hold on. What's wrong with that? That sounds awesome.
I mean, people wanted something different. That's the whole thing. They were like, "Oh, I want something different." And after people played through the single. Not the single player, but through the main quest line that you could effectively play as a single player SWTOR game, then it was just WoW.
So,
I mean, some of the classes were like eerily familiar, right? You're like, hey, wait a minute, this ability is exactly like that ability. Granted, it's difficult to make 100% original ideas for abilities in an MMO,
right?
But some of the ones they had, I think it was like the bounty hunter had an ability where he would jump into the air and fire like a missile barrage at the ground. That's
awesome.
Cool. That's something you couldn't see before.
Amazing.
I played the Imperial Agent. We were able to do cover based, like we'd deploy cover. That was cool.
Yeah, and I remember they marketed that feature quite heavily.
Here's the question though: was that a design flaw or was that a marketing flaw?
It was. I mean, it was design because like it was one of those situations where a lot of people use the term overhyping. They built it up so much in everybody's mind, people dubbed it a WoW killer. People like to dub things blank killers because, you have a WoW game, World of Warcraft, top of its game. There's no MMO that's going to touch it. So people dub something a WoW killer, that this is going to be the next biggest thing. There's nothing that's going to be bigger than this. So many MMOs tried to be WoW killers, and they all just fizzled out. Like, the hype got too big, people expected so much for them, and then when they played it, it just didn't pan out the way that they imagined it to, because these teams they got people excited, but they weren't able to deliver on that excitement.
Yeah. What was
so in that case, it sounds like overhyping is more a fault of the community, not necessarily the developer or the publisher.
I mean, it could also be the media too. It's a very complex. Everything feeds off each other, right? Like, people are really excited because it's the Star Wars IP, right? So obviously, when the publisher released, they're like, okay, we're going to make a Star Wars game. People love Star Wars. People love the Knights of the Old Republic series. Let's get people excited. People hear about it. They're like, oh my God, Star Wars. Oh my God, old Star Wars. So people get excited. That leads the media to want to get hits on their site, obviously. So they start covering Star Wars a lot. And then the publishers are like, oh, media's covering this. Let's pump out stuff for the media to show so we can get people to buy our game. And it's just a cycle, and people are like, wow, this game looks great. I wish I had more stuff. Over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's no certain group.
We're all part of the problem.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Mitch.
Yeah, everyone's part of the problem. I think specifically that was more of like a design flaw. Like, marketing did what they could to promote the game. If the game was good, then they would have done a good job. The problem was they marketed a game and then ended up sucking. Like, I don't think that's a marketing problem. I think that's a development problem.
I agree with you there.
So
there was an issue. Go
ahead.
I was going to say that leads to the first time I ever boarded a hype train. Was very disappointed. Was purely marketing. Yeah, I was young then.
You guys yelled at me last time I didn't have it ready.
It was perfect.
So.
I was young. It was a little toot. So
I'll give you a little toot.
A little toot.
Oh God. Oh boy. This isn't a hype train anymore. This is a different kind of train.
Hold on, let me get this fucking trombone ready.
In like the early 2000s or 99, I was in middle school, and internet was getting big. This was at the end of the lifespan of N64, and I was like just going around on the internet and getting news, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I get like gaming news whenever I want. They had some E3 thing or some Nintendo World, I forget, and they just showed this cinematic it was just a demo of what the new Zelda could look like on what was then codenamed Dolphin, which turned into GameCube.
Oh.
Do you remember that they called it Codename Dolphin?
I do. I'm sorry. I owed because this reminded me of something else. Keep going. Don't forget. I need to mention something.
So
it's a really good podcast.
And it looked great. It had Link fighting Ganon, and they were like locking swords and going around. It was like the best graphics you've ever seen in your life at that point. It was like amazing. Everybody was like, oh my God, the next Zelda game. And like media just kept showing this in a bunch of articles, and everybody's like, oh man, once this comes out, it's going to be great. Like a year later, or 2 years later, the GameCube was out. They're like, okay, let's show the new Zelda game, Wind Waker, which ended up being awesome, but it didn't look
I do remember this.
anything like that. From then on, that's when I was always skeptical of gaming media, and I tried never to be excited.
God, and it was
Star Wars: The Old
Nintendo too.
Republic.
That's your
That's and and the thing was, Wind Waker was great, but what they showed originally was nothing like it. Like, if they would have showed Wind Waker, and everyone would be like, wow, that's a new take on Zelda. That's really cool. But they showed
Link fighting like a rock.
Yeah, like
a bird,
realistic Link fighting realistic Ganon in like a dark like castle setting, and like really gritty and intense. And then they showed like cartoony Wind Waker version of Zelda, which ended up being a masterpiece, but
yeah, what may have happened is that they wanted to do something like what they showed, and then they realized, wait a minute, the Wii may not be
the GameCube.
The Wii?
GameCube.
It was cute. GameCube. Wind Waker. Maybe they thought this is not. It doesn't look good enough. As you approach more realistic visuals in a video game, you have to make them look good enough. Otherwise, they fall flat. Which is why a lot of games choose to do different art styles, and that may have been what they had to do with Wind Waker.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the major.
But Wind Waker, now that that whole ordeal's long past us, that game is great and it looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah, and
that art style is fantastic.
Stood the test of time too. Like,
Exactly. That tends to be the case.
Yeah.
More cartoony graphics age much better.
Mm-hmm.
That reminded me of what I light bulbed about was when I think it was when the PlayStation 3 was coming out, they released the PS3 tech demo. Do you guys remember
Killzone
the PS3?
3?
No, not of Killzone 3, of another game that never came out. I should say another remake that never came out. They did the tech demo of a Final Fantasy VII remake. They did the intro cinematic, and they're like, check it out, look how good this looks. And everybody lost their fucking shit. They're like, what the hell? Why would you make such a thing? And they made sure to say, by the way, we're not making a remake. This is not what this is. We just were going to do a tech demo to show you how gorgeous the PS3
that's an asshole move.
could look. Yeah. And I mean, talk about overhype. I mean, there's no game in particular that suffered from this marketing misstep, right? But it certainly had a negative effect on what people.
I'm glad I didn't buy into that.
They did the total pump fake, man. Everybody just their heart leapt out of their chest, and then they said, "No, there's no game here. This is just to look at." And it was
We don't fucking want to look at it. Give me the goddamn game.
This is just for show.
I have to wonder if that event caused all the scuttlebutt and all of the hype and jazz about people really wanting a Final Fantasy VII remake, and here we are, a full console generation later, and we're getting one.
We're getting one, quote unquote. Jesus, it's gonna be forever before we get that. But
yeah, it'll probably be 1.5 to 2 years out from now. But Christ, it's coming. We get to play that.
So
game
speaking
again.
of Final Fantasy, this is one of my big overhypes. I saw Final Fantasy 13, and I wanted. They were like completely revamped the combat system. It's not turn-based. I was like, yo, give me this. Give it to me right now. I want it. I saw the videos. I had a huge boner for everything that was going on. And then that game was just complete trash. The whole thing was a pile of steaming garbage. I was so disappointed. I could not believe that it was just waste of time and money. Did either of you get sucked into that? I don't know if you guys are Final Fantasy fans.
No, I didn't.
Dude,
I never really owned it.
I'm a fanboy, so I buy every Final Fantasy game. That game was just a bad game.
But yeah, again,
I don't know what Square Enix is doing, but Final Fantasy 13 sucked.
Yeah, but they marketed it like crazy, and I was eating that shit up. I was like eagerly waiting the release date. That was one of the last games
that was the first
that I
Final Fantasy
pre-ordered
game.
And like waited outside and went and got. That's like one of the last ones that happened because that one traumatized me. I was so excited, and then I started playing, and I'm just like, what?
You know what they may have been trying to emulate was Final Fantasy VII, because FF7 was the first Final Fantasy game on PlayStation 1, on PlayStation X. And I remember their marketing campaigns, man. I remember turning the pages in my PlayStation magazine and seeing the advertisement with Sephiroth pulling the mantle off of the Genova, lab console. And Final Fantasy 13 was the first Final Fantasy on PS3. Right? Yeah, 12 was on PS2. Yeah. And so maybe they were trying to do the same thing. We got a new console to work with. We got a new market possibly to work with. So we got to hit that marketing, nail real hard and see if we can try to recreate the magic.
Either way, again, that was another one of those that it was just like shitty design. Like that game just sucked. It wasn't really marketing's fault, but God, I ate that up and I was ready and I ate a train wreck. I did. It definitely happened. It was really, really unfortunate, and I'm pretty sure I tried to return that game. That was one of those situations.
Is that bad?
It was real. I didn't even play that much. It was just so god awful. Ugh.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to move on, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, actually, too.
Well, then, you know what? Why don't we all move on?
Let's move on.
All right. As far as that Final Fantasy announcement goes, I'm sure they just wanted to do it at it was at E3, right? But that game is a ways off.
We're not
probably
getting that for years and years.
And so, what do you think about that? Do you think that they should be releasing games so far in advance? I think it hurts I think it ultimately hurts them.
This is really funny. That's exactly what I was going to mention. And move on to.
Nice.
I was going to say, a lot of games now they're being mentioned way ahead of schedule. I think, I don't know. I think it's okay to announce a game that far in advance, as long as it's you're not showing it. Like, if you're able to say, like, I think Nintendo does it a lot, but usually with their consoles, they'll be like, "Hey, we're working on a new console," and then that's it. Like, they'll just say that's it for like literally like a year and a half and won't even show anything. I think they did that with the first Wii. They're like, "Yeah, we're making a new console. It's going to be different than everything you're ever going to see in your life." And we're like, "Oh wow, I wonder what this is going to be." And then they didn't say anything for a year and a half.
They're like, "Yeah, good luck. Keep wondering."
yeah. People like made up all these ridiculous ideas for like they had gyroscope controllers, which weren't quite off. But so I think it's okay if they announce it a long time ago, so get a little buzz about it. But releasing like drip feed information for such a long time, I don't agree with.
I'm okay with the early announcement if they do give us drip feed information, but if they announce it and then disappear, what the fuck? I mean, that just leaves you with an empty place in your heart, and it might lead to boredom. I mean, like, you might forget about it. You just might not care.
You might forget about it, or when they do finally say, "Oh, it's coming out in like half a year," you'll be like, "Oh my god, really?" As opposed to like drip feed information, and you'll be like, "Oh wow, I can't believe they changed that one mechanic. Do you think it's going to be like this now? Oh man, that's awful. Why are they adding this?"
Yeah, but would you not be excited if they hadn't announced it in the first place, but they still announced it 6 months out? Wouldn't you still be like, "Ooh, 6 months? That's like that's right around the corner."
I mean, that's great too. But I'm saying, like, if they do announce it 2 years in advance, I'd prefer that they just announce it and don't really give too much more information.
So basically, exactly like the Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement.
Yeah, but that's a remake. You know what you're getting.
Do you though?
It's a remake.
I don't know. Well, they already came out and said that they're going to change at least the combat mechanics a little bit. So
see, Chris, you don't know.
But like, so No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was announced.
That
2014 at E3, which is in June, and it was just announced officially that it's coming out in June 2016. It's a full 2 years. And people have a lot of trouble. They have a lot of trouble waiting for that game. People don't seem to be pleased with the amount of time that is taking to be released.
I mean, if you had a kid,
I think that
they'd be talking now.
Christ, that's one way to think about it. I think that the game is going to be released in tandem with PlayStation VR, which is why it's taking so damn long to come out. Because the game looks done.
It looks done.
Like the game that they have shown the last 4 or 5 or 6 times at various conventions or expos has been the same thing. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And that's where they get into these, let's tell you about behind the scenes. It's like, okay, that's cool. Give me the
Can I have a game, please, though? Can you just give it to me?
Yeah. As opposed to Fallout, right? Fallout,
my God. Are we back to this again? Really?
Yeah, it's worth a mention just because of their dates. Fallout, they announced that game in June of this year.
Yeah.
And it's releasing a week from today. It's like 5 months, right? It's 5 or 6 months? 5 months. Yeah. And that's going to sell like hotcakes. But maybe a game that's as big as Fallout can get away with that, where something like No Man's Sky, a small game from a small indie studio, may not be able to.
I agree. I completely agree. I think the Fallout marketing strategy, actually, now that we've been talking about it, has been brilliant. I think they're going to sell a lot because you guys will buy anything in that realm. But their marketing strategy has also been really, really good. Really well designed. And this No Man's Sky shit, I'm gonna eat my own finger. I'm gonna eat my fingers here, waiting for it. It's insane. I cannot. You know what? I can't talk about it anymore. I'm moving us on. We're going to the metabed because I'm gonna just lose my shit over waiting for No Man's Sky. I'm so pissed off about it.
All right, so last week, Chris, you lost the metabed after betting a 91 on Assassin's Creed.
What was that? What were you thinking?
So what did you
didn't have
do?
insider embargo information. That's what the problem was. So I had to play Warcraft,
Not Warcraft.
Hearthstone,
There you
Heroes of Warcraft.
That's the one.
Good save.
Thanks, bro. And I had to play that with 2 and 3 drop mana cards only. So basically, really weak cards, but they're really strong.
What class did you go with?
I went with Shaman.
Right on.
Ooh, I like
Because
that.
I tried to make like a totem deck,
Yes, I was just
Okay,
going to
so
say
you're
the
trying to
totem
win
deck
with,
is pretty
like,
good.
and I did,
Bloodlust or something?
I did all right. I lost more than I won, but it was fun. I messed around a little. I was like, well, it kind of bothered me the first day. I was like, because I was eating breakfast, I was having yogurt and granola, and I had to go make a deck. Like,
Nice.
the hell is that?
He called me and told me this later that day. He's like, yeah, man, I was really pissed off, the stupid freaking meta bet. I was like, just want to sit down, eat my granola, play some Hearthstone, and I'm like, I have to make a stupid deck first.
I haven't played Hearthstone in forever. I might have to duck back in.
It's getting pretty good, actually. The Grand Challenge, or whatever it's called?
Grand
Tournament?
Yeah.
Some of the cards are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Well, last week we bet on Need for Speed.
Yes, we did.
And recap, I had a bet of 78, Mitch 75, Chris 82. I'm in the money position. I'm safe. So Mitch
geez.
75, Chris 82. Today,
please.
I think today is the day of the release. 23 critics scores.
Oh,
Need
please,
for
Lord.
Speed has a score of 73.
God damn
Making
it!
Mitch the winner, and
Oh my god, I
Christopher
was so nervous.
is
Thought I
the
had
loser
it in the
yet
bag.
again.
No one likes racing games, Chris. I don't know why
Yeah,
you bet
people
so
do.
high.
That's why there's so many.
Nope. No, there's so many because they just keep making them.
Well, what he's not wrong about is like Forza. Forza is like always one of the top selling games of a freaking
Yeah.
console. It's
Well,
really
was
weird.
this a Forza title?
This was not a Forza title, Chris.
Chris,
Not a
Such an
Forza title.
idiot.
you fucked up. Chris, what are you playing this week?
This week I'm playing Heroes of the Storm, playing some Diablo, and I'm playing Vermintide.
What kind of character
Oh,
you got
yeah.
in Diablo? Oh no, I want to attack
His new
Vermintide.
game.
No,
Yeah.
I want to hit this
Damn,
Vermintide.
why?
I want to hit this Vermintide. Chris, help me out because I don't know anything about the game. Like what?
Oh man,
Is it mean of me to say that you can't use melee weapons? Is that possible?
it is possible. There is a wizard class, and I'd only play the wizard class then.
Nope. Okay. Can you play a non-wizard class and also not use melee weapons?
I
Or
mean,
is that impossible?
That's too difficult. Like,
Okay.
you only get like 48 bullets, and you're fighting thousands of rat men. So,
Okay.
You might have to
mean,
hit
how-
Diablo just because you don't know this one.
Yeah, I don't know Vermintide, so I don't
you could
know
say I
how
could
to
do
hit
only
this.
melee weapons.
Ooh,
And that's kinda
no
annoying.
Don't you
ranged
say it's
weapons.
like that's how the game is usually?
Well, you do melee is your main attack, but like I like the witch hunter, and I have a lot of guns. So that would mess. That would
it's
be
like
annoying.
a little bit of a. Think about when I had to not stealth, Mitch. It's like stealth
Right, it's
isn't
not-
the whole class,
yeah.
but it's.
I guess I'm not
it's
trying
a
to ruin
big
the
chunk.
game for you. I guess that's fine. So no ranged weapons, only melee weapons.
Okay, I could do
and
that.
and no ranged spells. So only
Damn it.
melee. Close quarters. That's what this challenge is called right now.
Okay.
Close quarters combat.
Close
All right,
quarters
so
combat.
this week we are going to bet on a little game called Fallout 4.
Ooh.
Is that coming out like next week already?
It comes out a week from today, yeah.
Ooh.
I thought it was like the 20th. Man.
I'm gonna lose, and I don't care because I'm just gonna trash talk this game.
I like this game as our betting game because I think it's going to have a higher rating than most of what we bet on, which is interesting, you know. None of this 82 garbage.
We're gonna be pretty. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll just get an 82.
Maybe somebody could play the could meta game the meta bet again and swing in with 82.
Okay,
I've got my number down. You guys go ahead and
write
get your
down my
number.
I gotta think. Give me 2 seconds. Wait, is there a specific console / are we PC? It's only coming out on PC, right? Or no, it's coming out on consoles,
all
right?
consoles.
So which console / PC? Or are we just
We'll default to PS4.
okay? Because it's the superior console. That makes sense.
I like
Makes sense to
PC
me.
better.
It's okay to be wrong about some things.
Yeah, Chris, it's all right. I mean, you were wrong about the Need for Speed bet too. So I think we're kind of used to it this episode. Ooh, this is a tough one. Because I know sheep will really love this game.
Number. Who's got the number?
Okay, I've got my number. Oh, this is
I'm
a bad
ready.
number. I shouldn't have picked this number.
You ready? All right, Mitch. What's your number?
I went with 90.
90. Chris, what is your number?
I went 93.
93. All right, Chris at 93. Mitch at 90. It's going to be a close one. I am 92.
Oh, God damn it.
So,
No, this is actually good because... Wait, no, he still can't lose. Damn it!
I still can't lose. I can tie to win.
Bitch!
Right?
Son of a bitch!
Oh, no, I can't tie to win.
Yeah, because I'm 93. I'm one above you.
Yeah, that's right. All right, cool. So I'm in the money position again. Mitch is at 90. Chris at 93. I have 92. That's going to be it for the meta bet.
Jeez, man. This game...
It better be good.
This game, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. It's fine. I'm ready for it. It's gonna be bad. Everyone's gonna realize it. My problem is I don't think the Metacritics are gonna think it's bad. I think they're gonna think it's good. Or gonna be paid to think it's good.
I think you're gonna win the bet, Mitch.
You think I'm gonna win the bet?
Yeah.
I kind of think he's gonna win too. Actually.
Yeah, we'll see.
What does that say about my deduction skills?
Well, I've been wrong. So your deductionary.
As soon as I said it, I was like, damn it. Damn it. All right, well, that's going to conclude episode 8. Be sure to check out Bit Cultures if you've never been there. We got a lot of different articles from a lot of different people. Everybody's got some pretty awesome things to say, so you definitely need to check it out. If you haven't checked out our other podcasts that we have on there, that one's pretty sweet. They talk about a lot of different things, mostly like our top 10s on the site. But definitely make sure to give them a listen. They're a bunch of really funny guys. And yeah, if you want to, say anything to us, say hi to us. Either post some comments on the video, post some emails. Our email address is analogstickradio@gmail.com. If you want to see either myself or Dakota streaming, we both will have our streaming links in there, our Twitch pages in there. I haven't quite figured mine out yet, and all I'm really streaming is Rocket League, so should be a good time. And yeah, other than that, we'll see you next Thursday. You guys have anything else you want to say before we wrap it up? This Thursday, I'm driving up to Anaheim. I'm going to go to a little shindig called BlizzCon. What is that? Is it a huge thing? What is that? Is it a new thing? It's a little thing. So next week, maybe, I don't know. We haven't talked about what we're going to do next week, so maybe we'll do some sort of Blizzard-centric episode, or maybe I'll just do a little BlizzCon report card, but we'll talk about a little bit of what we see, especially if there's some new exciting things to discuss. You're going to have to bring some pictures. Maybe we'll post some of those pictures in there if you can. Yeah, I think I will be live tweeting the opening ceremony at the Bit Cultures Twitter account. Twitter's at Bit Cultures, so you can check us out there. Again, all the links will be in the show notes. Don't feel like you need to run around and get a pen. It'll all be there so you can look at it later. But definitely take a look at that. That's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to be paying attention to that very vividly. And Chris, anything from your end of the corner? Everybody give Fallout 4 good reviews. Just so I win the meta. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us out there. Chris, Dakota, thank you guys for joining me. And we will see you guys next Thursday. Bye-bye. See ya.